All right, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Um, Seen a lot of people um, in the community like really upset at the version 58 update that I guess is pending. That's gonna come out another couple months from now, and I guess Zynga's Small Giant's attempt to I guess correct whatever mistake, although they're not calling it that. It's in in terms of what they have been doing with new heroes, and seeing a lot of just angry, upset comments about it, and fairly few people are looking at some of the positives, um, and there are some positives. Um, so I kind of wanted to touch base on on a recording on a video with you guys, just kind of explaining what I'm seeing, what I think is really good, um, and healthy for the game moving forward, and then also highlight the bads, and these are the things that I wish the people who are active in the forum, I myself are not active in the forum. I don't have time to sit there and type and complain about everything that I feel is kind of wrong with the world. And I guess for us in the video game space for Empires and Puzzles, this is a small world, right? So I just wanted to like kind of look at that, and then kind of look at um, where I feel like we should be focusing um, our efforts to ensure change happens, and then change doesn't happen. So I know there's a lot of videos that kind of already touch base on all of these, and the URLs on the forum. It's probably the most popular topic on the forum. So if you have a chance, go check out the Small Giants games forum for Empire and Puzzles and read through it. But let's just start with the proposed increase for hero per family, right? Again, there's no reason to summon any new heroes if the new heroes do not have some sort of a competitive advantage over the existing heroes, right? Um, so again, you have to reward the pay to pay players um, for summoning um, and wanting to spend money in the game to have newer heroes, um, but also more stronger heroes than what's currently in the game. Now, I do think that Small Giants needs to slow down with the hero release. Um, when I started playing the game, heroes weren't being released at such a rapid rate. There was a stagnant set of heroes that were already existing in the game. We had like a hero of the month. The events were kind of set for a while, and then they introduced um, a bunch of like new heroes into the game. Maybe 6 months. I want to say about 6 months in. So the only new heroes that kind of came into the game during the first year that I started playing were just hero of the months. And then you had like um, a few random for the Malvala, the Halloween event, the spring event, where we had one or two random heroes came in, um, and that was really it until season three came out, and then we got a release of season three as the seasons as you work through the season. The characters that were unlocked throughout the season, you start to see them release, and I think that was a great strategy for SG and the previous group before Zynga took over, just to release the characters into the meta, and then allowing the player base one to get a chance to get the heroes, level the heroes, use the heroes, and then kind of seeing where everyone kind of fit in, and then go from there. And I think that part of the game everyone loved and missed, because at that point, 6 months down the line, you introduce a new subset of heroes, everybody's happy, right? Because there's new heroes that are coming out. The meta can now shift, right? You don't really have to do balance changes in a negative fashion. You don't have to go, okay, this hero's too strong. We need to go and nerf it and things of that nature. It was, okay, this hero's strong. Now we need the new meta now has to be heroes that can combat this and make the old meta look irrelevant. Um, and I think we just started going down that slippery slope once people started complaining about, oh, this hero got released and it can do this, and that. And, all of a sudden, SG's like, okay, well, we got a bunch of money from it. Let's nerf them to quiet the complainers. And then all of a sudden, you know, we started seeing this nerf balancing hero act rapidly, where now, the people that were prevalent in the beta, their opinions start to, from my understanding, their opinions start to, stop being considered on the release of a new hero, because now I think they knew that they had this in their back pocket as a way to kind of revert or change a hero now, because there's not a lot of uproar that came from the community, because everybody kind of wanted to see those early heroes get balanced or nerf, so to speak. So that became, I guess, the starting point to where we are now. So you look at some of these heroes and you say, okay, they're focusing on the newer heroes, which they should, right? There's going to be a power creep. One family that I don't know if anybody touched on this, that's not on this list, that's in a new hero, is the pets. The pets aren't listed here at all in terms of a power adjustment. They also didn't include defensive adjustments or HP adjustments, which I thought was kind of odd, that the only thing they're really focusing on as far as the power increase or the shifts, because they're also doing some balancing acts and changes on some of the heroes. So I don't know if they're saying that, hey, we're going to balance the hero, these are their new numbers, and on top of that they're going to get a plus 60 on top of that, which will make some of the heroes and the justification for the drop in attack percentages kind of make sense. But that's that. But I don't have a problem with this proposed change that they want to do. Again, I feel, I summon. I feel that, in order for it to make it worth my while, and I know, most of the people that invest into the game feel the same way. Like, there's no reason for us to summon for new heroes if they're going to be a way for the people who don't invest as much to just, hey, okay, I got a hero from way back in the game. Oh, I'm going to just do this. I'm going to, level it up through, free methods. And all of a sudden I have a hero that's on par with the hero that I just summoned on today's, new banner. I don't think it makes sense for the pay-to-play community to then invest money in, and the result of that is that the game dies, right? Eventually it's like, hey, this is not a profitable situation for Zynga, and they're like, hey, let's just close down the game, and then we're all at a loss. So I don't think that's that cry of, hey, they're just updating the latest heroes that are coming out and making them stronger is something for us to complain about. Right? We need the old heroes to be older and less effective than the newer heroes. So this part of the proposed change is fine. This max health reduction update, I wish they just created a new skill that just had that ability, or tweak some of the skills that remove the max health. I'm still on the fence, but I'm fine with the proposed change. I'm wanting to think. I don't have an idea for it, but the boosted health can be a bit problematic, and it really depends on how you source that boosted health and how you get that boost of health. I think so far in the game, they have they have done a great job in balancing the heroes that have boosted health. Um, being that if they're fast, slow, whatever the case may be. But if you've seen like a lot of the slow heroes, Heimdall, Lady Lindenbrock, that have boosted health, even average hero Wolfgang, right? He gets a boosted health, but his boosted health is like 600. You have to wait 4 turns for it to proc the ability to get the boosted health. And now you're going to tell me that, somebody who's running that very fast is going to be able to just wipe that away after 4 turns of waiting for that. The strategy needs to be really thought out, and then a balancing act needs to go to some of those characters that have that ability, and that's pretty much what they do, right? Because ultimately, what this change is trying to do is just like how minions have an ability to massively remove the minions, which is also kind of like a boosted health, so to speak. They're pretty much doing the same thing on the max health reduction change. So in a way, it's a good thing because sometimes you can spam. Especially with these heroes now going to have 2,000 plus HP. They're going to become big walls, and they're also lowering. We'll go down in the rest of the in the article, but they're also lowering the max attack values of the special skills to minimize that. So it's something that could have potentially become a problem down the road. I'm just hoping that if it becomes very weak, then they propose a balance change to change some of these heroes as well. Not just, hey, we did this and we fixed it. Now we're going to release new characters with better abilities and just screw everybody over that has already invested into new units in the game like they've done in the past. So I'm fine with that. The Tomb of Experience update, this one is just a greed item. Let's call it what it is. This one is terrible. One, the items that, I don't know about other people. I rarely get any epic items out of Wanted chests, Titan chests, War chests, the daily chests. So, the Tomb of Experience is always something that either I've gotten from a bundle or something that is behind somewhat of a paywall. So for them to say, hey, yeah, there's a loophole with the item, and it's been existing since they released the item, and all of a sudden you want to change it, and the only reason you want to change it is because now people don't have to try to wait so long to either get a free alpha ether or wait for the alpha ether, not the alpha ether, but also that, but the regular ether event to come around, get that, and then all of a sudden they can upgrade their hero. Is a bit slap in the face. This one was, we can call it what it is. It's this one was a money update strictly for them. So we're just gonna call it that, and we're just gonna move on from that because that has nothing, that's nothing for us to really discuss. It is what it is. The legendary hero costume bonus. I know a lot of YouTubers are already touched base on this and just said, hey, this should have been implemented a long time ago. They shouldn't have needed this major update to balance this and get this corrected. They needed this. Season 1 needed it for those heroes to be viable for the free-to-play market, for them to compete. I think in the last year, SG has done a great job in boosting the free-to-play market, getting them units or getting those Season 1 heroes into a level where they could compete in the meta with a lot of the heroes that they've released. But it's also come with some resentment from a lot of players that summon on some of those heroes because they're like, you have a subset of the community that just like to brag and say, hey, I beat this team that had all these latest new heroes, yada yada yada, with a bunch of Season 1 heroes. And yeah, the game is supposed to be somewhat quote unquote balanced for that to happen occasionally, but it's also supposed to weigh out where these new heroes have to be better than somewhat of the Season 1 heroes, and that the percentage of your chance of winning needs to be higher than someone who's just have a bunch of season one heroes on their teams. Um, but you guys can't complain about everything. So here we go. We're gonna have this update. We're gonna have a boost to some of the older families on their updates. I'm sure that 2019, 2020 will see a subsequent update. I guess somewhere around when they get around to that side. Um, but I did want to touch on the Underwild family. They're probably there's some great heroes in the Underwild family. So don't get me wrong. I think Hilda, Elizabeth, Morale, Octros, um, Dr. Moreno, um, you know, and then there's some good heroes in season 4, but they don't compare with the season 5 heroes and the current releases because they don't have any passives, right? On top of that, the family bonus for them, they pretty much took the advanced version and made them on the super elementals because I can't tell you on offense if that stupid ability ever procs. And there's no set of 5 rainbow season 4 heroes, in my opinion, in testing, and I've gotten a good collection of all of them that works. There is none. Um, so that being said, they needed a bit of a boost to be viable in the meta because you almost, besides Morale, Octros, yeah, I think that's about it that you ever see still on defense at this point in the game. And yeah, of course, you want defenses to move along with the meta. But they're going to be some heroes from previous metas that transcend into the current meta. Whether it's just an ability update or a balance change or whatever the case may be, or just synergy that it has with newer heroes. You're going to see that. But the Underwild family, while they're doing this, do me a favor, SG. If you guys are listening to this one, I know I'm minuscule, or one of the other guys who have a bigger platform. Touch on this. Rework that family while you're at it, because that family bonus is probably hot garbage out of all the families that's there. I mean, season 3 family is broken up into a bunch of different chunks, and their family bonus is way better than what season 4 has. So that's my only gripe with this update, is that with this portion, is that they should do something like that. So I'd appreciate it if one of you other big YouTubers and people in the community push that one along. The other realms and things of that nature, it is what it is. They're gonna get a smaller update, smaller boost. You're gonna get that extra 5% mana generation. Maybe we might be able to push into that next threshold to get the average speed up to be able to maximize some average teams to be a little bit better than what they are, especially with the troops. That's another thing that's not in here, and boost the troops, but it is what it is. The taunt ability, I think Mr. Spock ran this one into the ground, and a lot of people were complaining about it, that 4-turn taunt is a very, very, very difficult thing to overcome. I think we knew first Rush War when Alpha Ethers got released and everybody popped up their Ludwig and was able to stop people from getting 6 tiles and just wiping out most of the teams in Rush War, that this was going to be a problem. We knew it was going to be a problem before it got released. A lot of people touched based on it. So it's kind of nice to see. However, it's you guys are kidding yourself if this is still not going to be prevalent and still be a problem. So it just is what it is. The hero selection that they gave it to absolutely needed it, and it makes them into a better monster than what they are. So I don't have any issues with them dropping the taunt down from 4 to 3. Pretty much you're just letting them taunt the first 3 turns and then taunt the next 5, 6, whatever turns that they've nerfed it down to at this point. But it is what it is. And then we get down to the laundry list of hero changes. Most of these are um, negligent. The only ones I really want to touch base on, and just let me get my notes here, are the following. And first, let me preface this by saying that I know what they did here. SG took a look at the heroes and said, "Hey, if you're fast, hit all. Here's your new cap." Metat and Morel now are capped at about 190, I think. Let me look them up really quickly on here. Right? Where I think they do 190 on the special, 30% defense reduction, and that's it. Right? And if you look at both of them, they're identical units, different elements, and I think different class. But outside of that, they're the same, right? And here's their change, right? And if you go down to morale, let me just scroll down here, right? Same thing. Let's look at the heroes. Both fast, both hit all, and that's the two abilities on the skill: hit all, defense down. And they made them identical. And this was SG's goal in terms of balancing out the heroes that are fast and hit all, right? And I think this was a great idea. And I brought this up with one of my alliance mates, Tylana, who I've been with probably the last 3 years. And we had mentioned the new heroes that were coming out a while back, and kind of balancing out some of the heroes, because some of the heroes are fast and they could do 2 things. Some are fast and they could do 3 things. Some are fast and they could do 4 things. So I said, they really need to get a kind of a system in place in terms of what a hero is allowed to do based on its speed, how many sub abilities that it gets. So if it's going to just be an attacking type unit, then it can hit the cap, right? So let's say for fast, they said the cap is 190. So all the fast heroes that hit all are going to be, and they have an additional ability, their cap is 190. So Ma'at and Morale would be in that category, right? Their cap is 190, and they do one other ability. If who else? I think they there's another one. From the Tower, the Alliance quest, the one with Wolfgang, the red one. I don't remember her name. Her name. But yeah, attacks everyone, and then it blocks the class skill from activating, right? The talent class skill from activating. Yeah, okay. You want to nerf that down and keep that in line with the current trend, that if you're fast, hit all, and you're an attacker, here you go. Now, if they want to do a fast and you hit all, and they want to make it higher than 190, then you know what? Fast, hit all, and that's it. So you could raise that up to like 275, but now you don't have a special, right? You don't have a special ability associated with the attack. So I get what they were doing. What I did not like, and I'd be kidding if I'm not a little biased because I have the hero, right? Is Fortuna came out. And she's not officially out. Like, their banner is not officially out for people to summon. So it was on that luxurious Black Friday. We all saw the list of the heroes when they come out. And just like everybody else, we, from the beta team that let us know that, hey, this hero is going to be coming out. Looks awesome. Look at the hero. Here's what it does. SG, you guys owe us compensation. Let's just call it what it is. Because this is when you start changing up some of the heroes like this, it's now a bait and switch, right? Because we're not talking about Morale and Ma'at, where you're making some adjustments to the numbers to balance out the heroes and make them a little bit more in line with each other, right? Where, of course, the newer heroes are going to be a little bit stronger, hit a little bit harder, right? The difference from Ma'at to Morale is going to be Matt is a season 5 hero that has passive abilities, and Morel is a season 4 that doesn't have any passive abilities, right? And that's going to be the draw to kind of go from Matt on your team on defense and offense as opposed to Morel. But Fortuna is out. She has a prevalent ability that is one of the reasons why most of the people who are going to spend money in the game went to try to draw for her, right? Just like Jove is a monster, and he didn't get hit too hard. They capped the fast hit 3 at 440, I think the number is. We'll get to him in a second. But when you take off an ability like Dispel All, right? Dispel effect remove. On top of that, what was really great about the Dispel effect was what everybody asked for in Dispel abilities. Dispel first before doing anything else. Now, this one made me feel like I got robbed, and the list goes on. If you've gotten Ferdinand, if you've gotten Hawthorne, like when you change the entire ability of a unit post release, that's when your player base gets like really, really upset. Because we understand you have to nerf and tweak and things of that nature, and there's certain things that you want to do for the heroes because you guys are under the terms of imbalance. But once you change the hero, trust me, it's not the same hero that you purchased. So and you summon for, because let me use their correct terms. You're getting gems or you're getting tokens, but ultimately we're getting those things to summon on the portal. The currency is used to summon on the portal. So the in-game currency needs to be refunded back to the players that spent it on the banner. It's as simple as that. You don't want players to complain about it, then stop using this strategy of guising it as you're balancing. Once you change the hero, SD should, you guys go dig in your own pockets and say, hey, we messed up. Here's your compensation back for everything that you spent on the banner, right? Because if you have to do that, then you're not going to balance these heroes in this fashion, right? That's our in-game currency. So you owe us back the in-game currency for everybody who spent money on the banner, whether they have the hero or not. I think you owe the players. I really honestly think that SD owes the players, right? Refund all the currency. So tokens, gems, if you used it on the Black Friday event, if you used it on pets, right? Whether or not you got the hero or not, once you made changes to a hero, you need to compensate back the players for this change, because it's not a balance change to help the hero, and it's not a balance change to help the what's name. Removing the Dispel effect does nothing to quote unquote balance the hero, because I seldom see Fortuna on defense. I'm only now starting to see Fortuna now that Ludwig has become viable as a tank, and Ludwig's ability to proc the ability for Fortuna, where you're pairing combos together. So her ability to dispel and now weaken the attack, and then pair it with another hero just to keep her alive, and then she can just keep going off and get 3 of those fiends on the hero and literally cripple the team's offense until they're able to heal, and chances are they won't be able to survive that before the wings are able to fire and kill you. But it took the Alpha Ethers, which you guys wanted to introduce, SG, not the player base. I don't think we asked for that. For now, you're like, hey, we're going to remove this and change this unit completely, because now it's quote unquote, I guess, broken. I don't have a problem with the Fiend, health absorbing, right? They're making those in line with, and kind of standardize a number, which I'm fine with. But once you start taking effects off of the card is no longer, the ability, the summoned unit is no longer what it is. And that requires compensation back to the player base. Let me repeat that. That requires compensation back to the players. That's why people ask for their money back, right? That's why people get upset. So if you want to go through with the changes, fine. If you want to make changes to the existing heroes in the base, right, that you've made ability changes to, then you have to compensate back the players. And that's a big compensation because I think Black Friday was very profitable for them, right? We can all say that. Like most of us went there and summoned. Most of us saved up for that summon, and most of us was like, hey, there's a lot of good heroes in this portal. Percentage rate was, kind of good for us. Let's go and summon. So we know they don't want to do that because that's where I'm gonna angle my response to support is, hey, listen, you guys owe us compensation, right? You're changing things on us. And every other game that has a in-game currency, right? They don't do this. If they put out something and it's broken, they live with it. If they put out something that's broken, they live with it. If they're going to patch, they're going to compensate you. If they really need to go change it, they're like, oh, man, do we really want to? Nope, we're going to live with it. Because they know if they do it, they have to compensate you. And they compensate you in the game. And the player base is happy. The player base is happy. Because they're not asking, since they can't get a cash refund, at least if they get the gems back for the hero, they get to keep the hero and they get the gems back, they're fine. Right? And it's just a slap on the wrist to you guys to know, hey, before you put out a hero, make sure the hero is good. But yeah, once you start changing the hero, like let's look at my buddy Ferdinand. Like I don't have Ferdinand. Honestly I hate this hero because this hero is a pain in the butt to go against. I don't think anybody who battles this hero on a basis, right, that knows how difficult he is, right? But look at this. Cleanse effect removed. Damage shade effect removed. It's no longer the hero that, if you got him or you really wanted him, right? Because I could say, I just want all the units, but, this wasn't a hero that I sat there and said, hey, I want this hero. But I'm sure somebody did. And I'm sure somebody chased for him. And then somebody got him. And the second they got him, pumped all their assets that they have stored up into that hero to get it up and running right away. Now what? They pumped ethers, alpha ethers, who knows, right? Emblems. And now you're like, oh, yeah, we're going to give you reset tokens. And it's only going to be available, I guess, like, not the reset gems that you could, you get in some of those packs or in some of the events that happen once a week, randomly, or once a month that you get it. Yeah. It's not going to be available in game to reset the alphas and all this other stuff. Oh, it's not going to be available for purchase either. Yeah, it's just going to be, you'll get one, maybe here or there. What sense does that make? You know what I mean? Like, doesn't make any sense. Like, you completely just slaughtered this hero to make it, like, almost worthless. And what you're ultimately telling the player base is, hey, okay, yeah, we need to limit it down. It's an average speed hero. We need to limit it down to 3 abilities. These are the 2 abilities to be cut off. And as a balance change, going forward, I understand it. But once you have put the hero into the mix, it is what it is because people have already spent their money on. Again, if you want to keep the changes, compensate the players. Let them get their money back, tokens back. All right? Money, in-game currency, however you want to compensate the players, because this is SG's problem, not ours, not the player base's, not our problem. It isn't. This is their problem. They want to balance the game. They want to continue making money and revenue. This is their problem. And I have told most of my players, like, hey, like the guys who I play with and talk to on a daily basis, listen, nothing's going to change unless everybody sits down and goes, okay, hey, we're going to go on strike and we're not going to log in. And we all stick together. Because either the platform dies and we all lose our money anyway, right? And then we can go seek restitution through arbitration. Or we, they say, hey, do we want to mess up a good thing that we have, a platform that there's a bunch of people coming that we're getting ad revenue and all this other stuff from, right? And all of a sudden we have nobody logging in. I don't. I mean, I honestly don't think so. I don't think anybody would want to blow that. I mean, what did they pay to acquire this game? You think they want to lose all that money and just write it down the hole? I don't think so. So I think if as a unit we all have to kind of come to terms and go, okay, hey, listen, there's certain things we're gonna concede on. Stat adjustments we can concede. Capping what the percentage damage output for special skills and the cap on the abilities, we can concede. Making sure that let's say very fast heroes, they either do damage or they have one ability, on their cards if they're going to be an AOE, maybe two if they just hit three, right? And if they're snipe, maybe they could do three, right? I'm fine with that. Fast, okay, big damage, one ability, damage and one additional effect, two, right? Cap at 190, what they've done with spoke about with morale, right? Want three abilities on a fast unit, right? 100 cap, three abilities, that's fine. But just stay consistent with it. Because then that way, maybe you want to tether, you want to do 90, 110, right? And play around with the numbers inside of that range, right? Depending on what ability is associated with it, fine. I'm good with that. But don't sit down here and tell me now you're changing a bunch of heroes. Because if it was bad for the game, that's on you. That's on you for releasing the hero. It's not on the players. So that's my 2 cents. Again, collectively, I think, the people in the forum, like, just getting up and quit, it's easy for a lot of people to say, hey, get up and quit. We're open to, I think, discussion, and not on a forum. You know what I mean? Like, where it's words and, you guys are just reading and ignoring it. Like, really communicate with the player base. Put somebody who's in charge who's going to actually keep in constant contact with a committee or something, just to ensure that the game doesn't die. Because the only way I think out of potentially opening Pandora's box from a player's perspective, is for us to kind of sit down together and say, hey, this is what we're going to do as a group. And I wished that a lot of the players that have a big platform kind of emphasize this. Like, it's not everything in there is bad, but it's certain precedents that I really just don't want to set, by allowing some of the changes to go through. Ability changes on the units, that just never sits well with me. Shrinking it down a little bit because this might be too strong. This one is hitting for fast and doing this crazy amount of damage. It doesn't sit well with me. But that's my 2 cents. So thank you guys for checking out. I know this was a long rant or conversation with you guys, but if you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and let's see how this plays out in the next month or two on on version 58. Still a lot of time for I think us as a player base to really organize. And I think if everybody kind of sticks together, like, hey, the offers are going to be there when you get back, if the game still exists. But if you got nobody to play the game with, then I don't think you're going to come and play the game either. So, and rather before you go there and say, hey, let me go play this other game. Yeah. It's only a matter of time before they do the same thing or they fall into the same pitfalls or traps that this game fell into. So, there's always another corporation that's going to go and buy up, another game because it's profitable or has a high player base. So let's work as a community to, figure out exactly what issues are the main issues that I think we need to focus on, so that those are the things that just get conveyed here. These should be our hard stance. All right. Have a good one, everybody.